Hey everybody, Shay here. It's time for another book haul. And given the updates from the last one or two or three book hauls, there were a couple books that I found during those hauls that I really wanted to get into. At least I wanted to own them in my collection so that one day, when time permits, I'd be able to roll into them and be able to read them. Without further ado, I'm just going to get started on the first one that I see right on the top of the sack here. And it's another Witcher novel. It's one of the beefier ones. This is novel number 5, and it is The Lady of the Lake by, I cannot say that first name. I cannot say it. Andrzej Sapkowski. Does that sound familiar? Okay, that's what we're going to go with. Of the same trade dress of the other ones that I picked up. Thank God, because at least they all get the match, man. So it's the Orbit edition. There they all are on the back right there. So the collection is coming along. I was going to buy these new. There's collections on Amazon's. I've had them on the wish list for years at this point because I played the games back in 2017, 2018. 1 and 2, haven't played 3 yet. People have kept suggesting for me to read the books as well. It's perfect condition. Whole different thrift shop, but it seems that people who read The Witcher really take care of their Witchers. So that's 5. You think that was it? No. We also got the Tower of Swallows. Look at that. Same edition. Look at that spine. Look at it. Look at the spine. Perfect condition. Okay, there's some scuffing and wear on the edges of that spine, but listen, there's no creases, man. How's that possible? Yeah, sure, the pages are a little yellow, but I mean, right there, that's the sun sill burn right there. Can't do anything about it now. It's too late. I mean, you can always sand. You can sand the edges of your books, by the way, with fine sandpaper. Cleans the edges a little bit, okay? It refreshes them, if you will. Take off a millimeter of the top, you know? Okay, anyways, that's enough of that. Book care. Anyways, $5.50 and $5.50 for both of these. You can see it even affects the color. Damn sun. Evil as it is. No, anyways, book 4 and book 5. I do have my spreadsheet up this time, so I'm missing the first book, man. I'm missing the first book. I'm missing The Last Wish. So eventually we'll get there. I got 2, 3, that's 4 and 5, and I found a third. I know, crazy. We got Baptism of Fire, book 3, because I just said it, so I kind of spoiled it before I revealed it. But in any case, there you go. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 so far. It's coming along. Again, this one's actually got white pages still. Hasn't been cracked, man. That spine is still good. Hasn't been cracked. Crazy talk. There's some pages here with like a black trim here, blue. We're going to check those out together real quick. I see, it's like an extras, whatever that means. Anyways, I like it. Book collection coming along. There you go. If only I found book 1. And so I'm going to be hitting the thrift shops again. I'm going to be going out of town for the next 2 weeks, a couple times. So hopefully I'll hit a few in those different cities. And cross some fingers. Maybe it's just like 1 year. I've been at this for a year, and these are probably on the top of the, man, if I could only find the Witcher books so I don't have to pay full price for them, that'd be epic, because these are $17 books, man, each one. I got each of them for $5.50, and I got the 20 to 30% off coupon, and you get the 5th book free when you buy 4. So hell yeah, moving along. Got another Ian Rankin, Let It Bleed. It's a mass market paperback for $3.50. You know, a little bit of wear on the spine, but beggars can't be choosers when it comes to Rankin. I did have to do a calculation on my spreadsheet. I'm at the 77.78% mark. 45 books in the Ian Rankin run that I've been looking for at these thrift shops. I own 35 of them, and so there's only 10 books left. This is another one off the list right here. Let It Bleed. And again, I feel like these are going to be really fast reads when I get to them. I know it's like 40 plus books, so how the hell are you going to read 40 plus books? It's possible. It's possible. Just got to get scheduled in. Anyways, Let It Bleed. Ooh, I don't even know which one to go to next, because this was a bit of a weird haul, because I really struggled to maximize the deal, you know, and in my head I was like, no, I'm not leaving here until I have 5 or 10 books or 15. We just moved to the one that I've actually, I hoped one day I would find this one, and I did, because a couple months ago at the thrift shops I found book 2, 3, and 4 of the expansion series, but I didn't find book 1. And I found book 1, people. And of course, you hear me say it. Look at these spines, man. Slick. Not a crease in the spine. For $4.50. Leviathan Wakes. So now I'm actually going to, this is probably going to get bumped up on my list of things to read. I really want to check out Expanse. This is by Orbit Books as well. I'm picking up a lot of stuff by Orbit. Good for them. They're doing good. Anyways, Leviathan Wakes. I believe books 1 to 4 were there. So now I've just compromised someone else's collection, because they're only going to buy books 2, 3, and 4. And I find book 1. I got buy it new. Listen, the new price for this is $16 American, $17.50 Canadian. This was a couple years ago, because there's no way that the conversion rate would be that low. This would probably be a $20 book today. 20, 21, something like that. Anyways, Leviathan Wakes. I'm really looking forward to getting to the Expanse. Anyone read it? Like, I know it's a show. I was going to do do a reaction series to the show. I did do episode 1 reaction at one point. It's in my backlog somewhere. Maybe I'll release it on this channel at some point. I'm not sure what to do first, though. I don't know if I want to watch the show or if I just want to read the book first. My gut is telling me I want to read the book first and then watch the show, you know? I feel like that's kind of that has to be the order of things, because I want to know how things started and then how they get interpreted, instead of being influenced in a reverse direction, which I feel like is not fair to the original source. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. Leviathan Wakes. And if that wasn't enough, I found a book that wasn't on my list, which threw me off. It's called Memories Legion, The Complete Expanse Story Collection. And this is a hardcover too, so I got it for $6.50. This is a collection of short stories told in the universe. And there are 10 books. There are 10 books in this series. So I don't think I'm going to stumble upon these very easily, and that's okay. You know, there's the list of 10 right there. I don't know where this falls in the order. I'm going to have to look all that up, you know. But I'm assuming it's probably at the end would be the best bet. You read the entire series, and then you read the short stories, because they fit somewhere in between, here and there and there. And instead of piecemealing where all of these fit in the continuity, I don't know, maybe I just check the publication date. It's usually how I organize these on my list of things to read. Anyways, Memories Legion by James S.A. Corey, and Leviathan Wakes, book 1 of The Expanse. So those two really awesome finds. So far, these 6 books, absolutely desired. And now I start to go in cray territory. So in the last haul, I talked about a new author I stumbled upon called Jack White. And he's got this Saxon series, and I found The Sky Stone by Jack White. So yeah, it's yellow, I mean, pretty brown pages, you know, and it's like, you know, but for all intents and purposes, that spine is not creased. Crazy. Anyways, but I do like the page, the teethy. Look at that. Looks like parchment. Feels like parchment. The pages, I don't know if it's like the treatment or it's actually, see how they're brown around the edges? I don't know if that's actually like legitimately like it's age and sun damage and stuff like that, or if it just feels like it was printed like that on purpose. Probably wasn't. But it really does feel like it adds character to this particular book, just because of the way that it feels. I can't explain it to you. It feels different when it has pages like these. It feels like parchment. It feels like something old you're reading. It feels like man, look at this. Even the way it opens, like I don't know. I can't explain it. It feels like I've taken this out of some ancient library somewhere. Yeah, so there we go. I'm rambling on about nonsense. Let me look down my list right now. The Sky Stone is book 1 of A Dream of Eagles series. I've got book, I guess, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm missing book 2 and 3 of the series, but at least I got book 1. I can see what his writing's like. I'm clearly going to find book 2 and 3 at some point, even if I have to buy them new if I like them, because then I can complete the run. There's actually 7 books. There's the 7th book is called Uther. A little bit used. It feels used, you know, but that's okay, because it was part of a series I really need to get the book 1 of so I could start reading, right? So next one is also like, I would have absolutely picked this up. And at one point I was going to buy this entire series. This is the Omnibus for Blade of the Immortal. Look at this beautiful edition. This book, it's solid. The spine is great. The pages are fine. Now I thought these were printed in a bigger format for the Omnibus series. I guess I was wrong, but pages are crisp and clean, and I've always wanted to read Blade of the Immortal. I've been looking at this thing for probably a decade, probably 2 before I got into the manga you see behind me. There was only one series I really read, which is above me, which is like right there, Lone Wolf and Cub. Man, I loved Lone Wolf and Cub, and I probably read that in 2003 to 2005, something like that. I would read them out of the library, like the small, there was like 27 or 29 volumes. They were all at the public library, which was like a block away from where I worked at the time, and I ended up devouring them. I loved the series. I love the quiet moments. I love the intense one-page kill moments. And then I heard about Blade of the Immortal by Hiroaki Samura, and there you go. Dark Horse. Don't know how many omnibus there are for this, but I would buy these. I'd buy the rest of them new. Would it cost 29 bucks Canadian? Got it for $6.50. So amazing find on this one as well. The next two I was familiar with because of the video games, and because I ended up buying the video games in some package, or I got them for free actually on GOG, something like that. It was something that was going on, and it's for Metro 2030. So we got the Dmitry Glukovsky, hopefully I said that more or less right, for $5.50. The book would have cost $9 in the UK, which means like $18 in Canada. Double it. That's crazy. So there you go. I've heard about the setting. The setting looks awesome. The videos look awesome. The summaries of the settings look awesome. I believe they were novels before they got interpreted. Of course, I would like to, at this point, read them before I end up playing this game. Anyways, the terrifying underground cult bestseller, Metro 2033, and I got lucky enough to find Metro 2034 as well. I'm not sure how many of these books there are. I haven't really looked them up yet. Like there might be a 35 in there. I actually don't remember. I feel like I have 3 games though of this series. This one's a little bit bigger format than the first one, but that's okay. It's still in great condition. The spine is great, no creases, a little bit of warpage there going on right there, the angle, but that's okay. Probably going to be top-ish of my stack as well. I would not mind reading 2033 probably this year still. I'd like to see what they're all about. This one here would have gone for 14 UK, so like 25 28 bucks Canadian. I got it for $7, so looking good. Now I start going into the territory of what am I doing? I should just walk away, because at this point I have myself 10 books and I was like, I can just walk away. Which was the book that I found where I was like, well, I guess now I have to find 4 more. I want to believe it was this next one. It's an X-Files book right here. Look at this Book of the Unexplained, the first series I got religiously, that's a weird word, addicted to in the early 90s. I was in grade school, high school, like the X-Files. And here's the thing, I've never finished the series. I stopped at the movie, and what was that, like 4 seasons worth, and then they had the movie, and then I went off to school, and I just derailed. I didn't watch TV anymore. Like it was a weird moment there where I lost the last half of the series. I think there's like 9 seasons of the X-Files, but in any case, I had to get it. So the X-Files right here. It's a source book, nice design. It's probably like, it probably goes into all the lore and the stuff that was going on with like each of the episodes. I'm gonna do a quick flip here. Jane Golden, Borrowers, Beyond the 5 Senses. So it talks about the lore of what happened in the season, I would have presumed. I want to watch the series though. I want to go back and see what I missed out on, you know? But so part of me is like, do I flip through this and read about it and maybe spoil some stuff, or do I go and actually retroactively watch the episodes that I missed? Because I loved this IP. I loved it. I loved aliens. I loved abduction stories. I loved everything to do with UFOs. I used to read magazines out of the library. Omni magazine, I think it was called. Man, I was addicted. And then I had to find 4 more books is where we're at. The next book on the list is Anne Rice's Vittorio the Vampire. I remember back in the mid 90s, late 90s, I really enjoyed the first 4 books of Anne Rice's. Interview with a Vampire, Vampire Lestat, The Body Thief, and I lent the books away about 15 years ago, and I no longer have them. So I ended up buying this collected edition that had book 1 to 3 on it in a book haul, and I had read another book. I forget which vampire it was, but it was a vampire that was, I think, oh, that's right, The Queen of the Damned. So I guess I did read Queen of the Damned. Wasn't that the 4th book? Was that the 3rd book? Because I got to The Body of the Thief and I recall reading it, but there's a bunch of them here. There's The Feast of All Saints, Cry to Heaven, The Vampire Lestat, The Queen of the Damned, The Mummy, The Witching Hour, The Tale of the Body Thief, Flasher, Taltos, Memnoch the Devil, Servant of Bones, Violin, Pandora, The Vampire Armand. That's the one. I was trying to remember. I ended up signing out Vampire Armand, I believe, if I recall correctly, because this would have been 20 years ago at this point. He's the one that's tied to the Philosopher's Stone idea and that time in history where there's like alchemy involved, and so you have the whole alchemy, immortality, and then vampire stuff. I think Lestat might have had an appearance there. Am I lying there? I don't remember. Anyways, Vittorio, I mean, by the name alone, I was like, oh, this is Renaissance for sure. And, you know, I'm familiar. I got an art history background, and I recognize the paintings there, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, like a Renaissance vampire. I'm kind of curious. It says New Tales of the Vampires. And then opening the flap here, it says, educated in the Florence of Cosimo de' Medici, trained in knighthood. So Cosimo de' Medici, huge patrons of the artists and whatnot. So I was looking forward to reading Vittorio. It is pretty short, so it looks like a bunch of, it says collector stories. It says New Tales of the Vampires. No, it says a novel. Never mind. I stand corrected. I keep seeing Anne Rice books there, but none of them look the same. And the mass market paperback versions are just as decimated as all Stephen King novels and Dean Koontz novels are. They're really well read, and so I never picked them up because they're about to fall apart. So I move on. But these hardcovers, I'm going to start collecting these. I have Memnoch the Devil. I still haven't read. It's on my shelf for about 20 years. It came from a library haul 20 years ago. Yeah, and I got Servant of the Bones back there, and I got Violin back there as well. So tons of Anne Rice that I should be wanting to read faster than I have been, because I do recall really enjoying the tales. So continuing on, these extra 4 books I had to buy in order to get to 15, I suppose, so I could get 3 of them for free, effectively. I ended up picking up a hardcover that I've seen here and there, but it's never in order, and I'm like, well, then I'm not going to get them. And I like the paperbacks that I've noticed are usually in good condition, and I like the look of them, but I never get them. Anyways, it's George R. R. Martin's Fire and Blood of Song of Ice and Fire. I always get that backwards. I always want to say Fire and Ice. In any case, it's in such good condition that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put them on the list. You see the pages are even white? Crazy. And so I'm going to put them on the list, and I'm going to start tracking down these particular editions. I think they're nice. This was for $7.50, but you know, these editions go for a lot of money, man. That's 35 American, I believe, is what I'm seeing on the barcode back there. So in Canadian, yeah, right here, $47 Canadian. So that's a crazy savings, even if I have to buy different versions of them at some point and have, I want this set to match. There's like a bunch of other sets, I don't really care. But this is either it has to be all the paperback versions or it has to be the hardback versions. The mass market paperbacks I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy the look of them because they're too thick, you know, and they're very well read, and so they're generally, I just don't like the quality of them. This is a pretty solid quality. Again, white pages. Sometimes I'll find these, but the pages are all dinged up and ripped up and stuff like that. This one actually has art in it. What the heck? Look at this. Oh my god. And there's a couple chapter breaks here that I flipped through that, I mean, look at that. Crazy. So not something I expected. Maybe is that are different versions of this. This is the Bantam version. Do different versions of these have like different treatments on the inside? Like I was not expecting the art on the inside, but I can very much appreciate it. I do like, you know, I expected that on the inside fold, but not inside the pages, you know. Anyways, so obviously I'm not going to read these out of order. I'm going to want to find Ice and Fire. I don't care if the series doesn't get finished. I just like the world building of it, and if it's organic enough, then I'm kind of following it along. I don't really need an end to something that feels like an organic, lived-in setting, if that makes sense. You know, you just kind of like, you're just there. You experience the setting for what it is and the pieces that are moving along the way. And as I understand this, because I watched, I don't know, it was the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones. I'm not sure. I didn't watch the last 1 or 2 seasons, where everything sort of goes off of the books. Not that I had any attachment to any of that. Didn't care because I didn't read the books, so it didn't matter to me. But I like the dynamics at play with the characters and the world building and stuff like that. So people I work with talk very highly about this franchise. And of course, out there, people are mostly upset that, you know, 10 years more have passed and it doesn't look like there's any sign of the last novel hitting the shelves. None of my business. It's none of my business. Anyways, it doesn't really matter to me, like I said. I'm not really attached to any of it. The next book I've been familiar with because of quotes and whatnot. This is The Illustrated Art of War by Sun Tzu. And this was something that back in my university days, I recall looking at plenty of quotes that come from Sun Tzu's Art of War because they're just really cool quotes. Anyways, it's an illustrated guide with, I guess, a bunch of the quotes from the book itself. I will eventually, I think I bought this book on a thrift haul. I can't remember now, but it's a book that I would probably pick up, or I've seen it, but it wasn't in perfect condition, so I never bought it. In any case, The Art of War, I think it's just a really nice looking book. Sometimes I go to the art book section or the media section. Sometimes there's like music in there, biographies and stuff like that. And sometimes you find these really nice hardcover books that are just cool to have in the collection. They look pretty on the shelf. I have a shelf of just these kinds of books, and I love it. And I got it for $7, $42 Canadian. Brand new. And guess what, everybody? It's in perfect condition. It is brand new. Anyways, and then the last book to wrap it all up. Now, I've already experienced this book by audiobook when I did the road trip. I mentioned it a couple times across the blogs. I did a road trip out west from Ontario to BC, or the mountains, right before I entered BC. And I did that right at the edge of winter. Really cold. Radio broke down, and thankfully, I had 4 audiobooks I could listen to. This was one of them. It was a little bit redundant. My memory of it was extremely redundant, to be honest, but that's how it gets to the point that it needs to get to. The Power of Now. I do recommend it. A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. It's not really as hokey as it sounds. It's like, it is. But at the same time, it's sort of like maybe as an audiobook when you're driving through the prairies where there's nothing really to look at for days. It's something that's sort of like, you sort of like just turn around with the same idea over and over again until you realize, you know, you come to the center of now. Anyways, I want to get a good book. Now, there's some dog ears going on here, but I wanted to get a good quality book of this. And although I found other Eckhart Tolle books, and I've gotten 2 of them, I think, since, I don't know, they're out there somewhere. They're in the back somewhere. I didn't have the one that I read, and I was like, no, I also want the one I read. I might want to return to it after reading the other books that I got and see if anything stands out differently. I think the idea in this is very simple. It's just extremely redundant, which is why it filled up this much of the book. It can probably be 25% of this, probably get the point across, but a lot of people don't like listening with 100% of the brain. They listen with 25% at a time until they eventually get to 100%. Anyways, Power Now, that's the, I guess, 15 books, because I would have bought this in 5s, right? So 1, 2, 3, 14. 15 books. So you go 15 book haul. Like I said, I'm going to be leaving town again, or I'm entering different towns over the next 2 weeks. And so we'll see if I only find 5 books. Maybe I'll wait until I go the second time, mid-month or end of month, and then I will do another book haul when I return with whatever I find along the way. It looks like I'm starting to plug a lot of the holes of the collections that I have been collecting. And so now it's either I'm going to be stumbling on new books along the way, or I'm going to be stumbling on books that I had forgotten about for years. But when I see a nice collection of them, of course, I'm going to dive in, and then I'm going to come back with a bunch of mysterious finds, and I never plan to get these. That's what I love about thrift hauls in particular, is you don't go with an idea of what to get. You can just go to Amazon and buy the books you want, like Christopher Rucchio books, by the way. I've heard so much about them. I'm going to be probably having to pick those up new, and they're very expensive, and some of them are hard to find at this point. Anyways, I'm derailing. The point is, like, am I likely to find more like those indie authors I'm looking for to start reading? Probably not. But when I go to the thrift haul, I get to remember like 20, 30 years of my experience with books that I had a falling out with. I didn't have a falling out with. I just got so very distracted that I stopped reading as much as I used to read, and I'm slowly creeping back into the era of reading a lot more. I'm looking at a stack of books. I've just finished my 5th physical book this week, and I got through 2 digital ones, so 7 books in 1 week. So I'm kind of getting back to the habit of just enjoying a good read or an audiobook while reading. I like to do a hybrid because it goes faster. Thrift hauls bring me back to that love of reading, and it makes me remember why I enjoyed that type of escapism so much. So hopefully you're enjoying them as well. I'm going to be coming back with more hauls along the way, because I love just like leaving the house once in a while and just looking at books for an hour or two. I know maybe that's too much time for some people. For me, I love it. It's an escapism. It's like a zen. You know what I mean? I'm just there until my feet kill me and my back strains. That's it for now. I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to explore, engage, inspire, buddy. Peace.